have either of you ever gotten in trouble for sassing too much while you're flirting?
I think Dalis should answer that. She just took a long breath.
I think when I'm sassy with I'm going to say men, because although I date both men and women and everything in between, please call me.
Welcome to the Audacity.
In this episode, we're joined by a very special guest for a S.A.S.S Masterclass. Hello, hello, hello.
Hey there. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back.
Oh, I've got a big smile on my face.
I know.
'Cause today we are leading a lesson.
We really are. We're going to be the educators. We're going to use our degree, sort of, kind of, not really, but anyway.
We're going to get educated a little bit as well.
Exactly.
Because we're joined by a very special guest.
And an expert,
One of our friends. We'll get back to
Yes.
that in just a second, though.
Anyways, welcome back.
Yeah.
Lovely to have you back.
Hope you enjoyed the last episode.
I know. It was very insightful for us, I would say.
It's nice to take a step back every once in a while and like see how that process went.
I know.
A little bit of reflection.
Oh. It's like lessons of life.
Yes.
But like also in a very weird and painful way.
Damn, we're learning a lot this season already.
Look at that. Philosophers.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's also nice, even since the time we recorded that episode until now, because we recorded it well in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, things are very different already.
Yes.
I'm not even sure if I agree with our outlook, but
I don't know.
It's
Most
there.
of it. The
Yeah,
essence.
the
The
essence.
essence we do.
the essence. Well, let's see what essence we come up with today.
Yes. If you haven't listened to the episode, you can find us at audacity.fm on every social media platform. LinkTree, audacity.fm also. Twitter, audacity_FM.
We just got to keep you on your toes with that one.
Really?
And yeah, whilst you're there in our bios, you'll find LinkTree, which will forward you on to Anchor, our host. From there, you have the option to leave us a voice memo.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to hear your feedback. We can include it in a future episode someday.
Yeah.
You can also support us there with a monthly contribution, which just helps our show grow. And yeah, we would really be grateful if you can help out that way.
Yes.
And yeah, like I said, today we're joined by a very special friend.
And a very special guest.
So stay tuned.
Yeah.
You're listening to The Audacity.
Are you sassy?
I think this question should be directed towards.
That's the question of the day.
That is the question of the day, but it should be directed towards our very special friend and guest, the first guest for this season,
Yay!
Dalis.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. And yeah, just honored, excited.
Aw, we're more excited, I think, to
Yeah.
have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Mm-hmm.
Dalis is our good friend from uni and
Yes.
now just in life.
Yes.
Thank God.
Literally, yes, deity. Relationship guru, all around interesting person,
But most importantly, a S.A.S expert.
a S.A.S master.
I like to think of myself as one. Yes. I don't know if I was born with it or I got it throughout the years, but here I am.
Well, yeah,
Here I am.
that's what we want to get into today. Maybe we start with a little definition. I don't even know how I would define it, but how would you guys define sass or being sassy? What is it?
Well, I think of S.A.S. as self-assured and self-sufficient.
Boom.
Oh,
Boom.
oh, we love
We love that.
an acronym.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Self-assured and self-sufficient.
Yes,
Cute.
because for me, being sassy is being everything you need,
Mm-hmm.
but also not being unkind to others while at it. So it's it's a lifestyle. It's a holistic approach to respecting yourself.
Yeah.
I think
It's like knowing your self-worth without being needy, you know.
I think if in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with being needy or being vulnerable, but there is a sassy way of being needy and vulnerable. There is
Yeah. That is a great way to look at it, actually. Because for me, friend of mine, if like sass is like attitude, confidence, you know.
Yeah.
And it's I never seem to tie it with like oh, assurance or like, you know, like getting what you want, but also showing your vulnerable side. So that's like a great way to actually even look at it.
Yeah. I know. I think it like kind of fits the whole personality, right? If you're a sassy person, like, yeah, sure, you use it at times when you're maybe like a bit heated and you really need to like get your points across extra strong. Or maybe you just use it other times because that's your type of humor and that's who you are and that's how you like kind of being playful with people. But it depends on the person and the circumstance, I guess.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask a very redundant question that I know the answer of. Are you sassy?
Of course. I was born sassy and I became sassier, and I've been working into being sassier every day because of, as I told you, my approach is pretty much respecting myself, respecting others, and that might look different to everyone.
Yeah.
Because everyone has their own experiences, and I guess it's just a process. Getting to know yourself better.
That's true. It's almost like a evolution. Like your sass grows up with you, you know, in that sense. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I can think of now like some of like the young kids I know. Some of them are just like naturally very sassy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of attitude, a lot of confidence, very outspoken.
Yeah.
Or even like the quiet, shy ones will have their moments when they snap into it.
Yeah.
I think everyone's born with it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And you maybe either, you learn how to use it, live with it, or maybe you go the opposite direction, but I don't even know what that would be.
Yeah. What about you?
I think I'm pretty sassy.
Yeah.
I know, if we were ranking everyone sitting at this table right now, I might not be,
No.
I might not be at the top.
No.
But I think I'm maybe more on the strategic sass side.
I was gonna say quiet sassy. I think, but it also, you gotta watch out for the quiet ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, the quiet ones.
Yeah.
The kitty got claws, you know?
Yeah.
When it comes out, we're not here to play.
Well, and I think, you should know when you're talking to me if I'm being sassy. It's either because, I love and respect you and we're playing together.
Yeah.
Or I'm using it as a weapon right in front of your face.
That's true. And good that you mention it, how like we never seem to consider it because sass is often looked on as like, like that's just an attitude, that's just a wave of pride or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also contextual. There's like your sass depends on who you're with. Like you wouldn't just like, some people are sassy to everybody and their sass level is equal. But sometimes we fix the dials. It changes upon people. So what would you fall into, Dalis? What do you think?
God, the only thing I was thinking while you were saying that was when I'm with men, I don't know. Like they don't get to talk to me in any way that I don't like. They don't get to look at me in any way that I don't like. It's just, and I know that from like context, it's usually because I grew up in a context where men are just so lascivious towards women. And so you have to put up your barriers. But then living in another country, it's not always like that. Like men aren't always going to be lascivious, or they're not going to be like bad intention. Blah, blah, blah.
Doesn't have ulterior motives.
Yeah, but also not like they have the best motives either way,
I agree.
No.
I agree.
Yeah, in that case, sass is like a nice barrier to
Yeah.
Like, can you
keep
put
them in
up with
line.
it?
Yeah. It communicates how you like to be treated in a way. It's, because I feel like if you're too complacent, or if you're you allow for someone to disrespect you once, twice, thrice, what's gonna stop them? If you don't stop them, then they're gonna continue doing it.
So sass then becomes like a take no shit kind of attitude.
Yeah. Well, and I think, for us who kind of use it as the masters. It's like an easy way to diffuse those situations.
Yeah.
Because the other approach would be very direct, not sassy at all, like very cold, deadpan. Do not speak to me that way.
Oh, where have we? Why does that sound so familiar?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, but that's actually like such a good, I would say, approach is that you kind of already show a front, like this is my standard.
Yeah.
And either you live up to it or fuck off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Like, do you have that?
I'm figuring out my place in it. Like I'm still on the strategic side.
Yeah.
And I think, you can either use it when you're at your most confident,
Yeah.
And you're trying to show off, who you are and your flair, or it can also be a nice security blanket when you don't know how to deal with a situation and you just want to,
diffuse it.
Fast it up, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's also different, when I'm sassy, like as a gay man, that's almost a cultural thing as
It's
well.
a stereotype.
It's a
Yeah.
stereotype, and I can play into it when I want, actually, and I can be sassy and campy, when I don't want to be so direct or overt, like a little signal flare to send up that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure because I'm not that interested in strangers anyway, so I don't think I would be sassy with them by default. You have to earn that sort of response out of me.
True.
Said the non-sassiest person in the room. Said the unsassiest.
It's very American to not be inherently sassy. Like you want to be as BC and nice and smiley and inviting as possible because that's how it is. But no, that's a good demarcation, I would also say, to be strategic about it.
Are you strategic about it? What's your relationship with sass?
I think it's a mix of both of you guys. Some sense I am very strategic about it because I just I know in some situations I have to be coy and demure and I have to hold my breath, if you will. But also in some situations, if it slips in because that's me, because that's, my personality. I am dominant and loud and obnoxious and I need to prove a point sort of thing. So
and we love you that way.
So, for example, if it's with a guy, either the sass is like you said to be okay, this is it. If you're not gonna be with it, then just leave it. But then the other times, if the sass comes along, it's a lot of flirting and it's a lot of it's kind of hot.
Yeah, but what's flirting if not a conversation with a lot of cheek?
Amen.
Yeah. Flirting has to be cheeky in a way. Otherwise, it's just boring and it's, I don't know, it becomes a bit calculated.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Have either of you ever gotten in trouble for sassing too much while you're flirting?
I think Dalis should answer that. She just took a long breath.
I think when I'm sassy with some, I'm going to say men, because although I date both men and women and everything in between, please call me.
We're going to tag her Instagram in the bio, so.
Check. Well, listen to the whole episode first. Work on your best pickup line.
Right. That was a bit prompting. But okay, so I think I've gotten in trouble because the way that some men see my sass is as intimidating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Intimidating or as if they weren't enough. But the thing is, I'm not going to smile and be complacent and laugh at things that I don't consider funny just for the comfort of someone else. And I think that as a society, and especially, for example, there are some cultures that are more complacent than others.
Yeah.
We're just raised to laugh or to permit more than we are okay with, for example, physical touch. When someone comes to me and they want to say hi to me, they want to, like touch my waist or like for me to give them a kiss, I'm not comfortable with doing that. And some people don't take it well.
Yeah.
Some people are just not, they haven't gotten on with a program of boundaries. And that's a very important thing, because being sassy is, as I said, being respectful of yourself, but also being respectful of others.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot more honest on way to communicate.
I think it's a stark reality check for them, because for the first time, their needs are not being catered to. Like someone else is putting their foot down and saying, "Hey, I can't get with your ways." So that's also that's why they get so offended.
True. Well, and like what you were saying, there's like an interesting gender lens to it too. What you said, like, yeah, you're not just going to sit there and smile if something's uninteresting to you. You'll make it known. If a man did that, he's not seen as sassy. That's just his default.
That's his nature.
Yeah.
So to you, it's like an act of defiance. But,
Well,
and it shouldn't be.
And
it shouldn't be.
Exactly. And I loved that you said men find it intimidating. And I'm like, am I intimidating or are you intimidated?
Yes.
That's the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's really not on us. Like if you're, threatened by a strong presence, your definition of strong is very wrong,
Exactly. And there's a difference between being mean and just communicating what you're okay with and your needs and your wants. So
no, there's lots of different ways to go about it. I think we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
But first, we got to focus on the poor victims that we subject to our sass. I also use it quite a lot with like colleagues or peers. I notice sometimes in a group project. I think it goes back to this. Am I intimidating or are you just going to be intimidated?
Yeah.
Like we have deadlines to meet. We have things to do. If I don't know you that well, I don't want this discussion to get too friendly. Like let's stick to work.
Yeah.
That's definitely when I bring a lot of my office sass into it.
No, I think there is this one of the reasons that I really like my employers is because of the training opportunities that they give me. And one of the trainings was influencing without authority. And I think that really comes into play when working sass in your workplace. So you're really getting what you want, but you're also like you said, putting that take no shit attitude in it. But you're being very respectful. Like if emails are, used as evidence in court, then
wow, the art of persuasion.
Then a judge would look at it and say that this is a perfectly viable and legal way of communicating. So I agree with you. Like there are deadlines to meet. There are things to do, especially if you have an enabling function within the workspace. You need to get things done because you're relying on a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's also where the self-assurance and self-sufficiency comes in, really. So I agree with you. In workspace, that is also where the sass is scattered. What about you?
I think in the workplace, I try to be more observant. I am more observant and I don't say as much unless it's absolutely necessary and when it's appropriate. What do I mean by appropriate? If I'm not gonna be contributing or if I'm not gonna be helping with the issue, I'd rather keep my 2 cents to myself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, yes, you can be outspoken, you can be opinionated, but there's place and time to be. So,
That's
for example, if you're receiving feedback, you don't want to come across as sassy. Why? Because also you need to, you need to receive in order to improve yourself, to evolve. And if someone is telling you, hey, you could be doing this better, and then you don't listen to people, how are you going to improve? Because you can be self-aware.
I agree.
Yeah. And still be assured.
Well, that's like the difference too between being sassy because you're confident or doing it because you're arrogant.
Yeah. That's very true. And I think this is the factor that people don't really think about, is that sass isn't about pride. It's humility is involved in sass, because to be self-assured, you have to be self-aware. And like in feedback, like you said, you can't, like say, okay, I know better than you. That's just not gonna happen.
Yeah,
Time and
imagine.
place. Yeah.
Exactly. That would just be an eternal monologue. And then who wants to be around that?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that would then that's when HR gets involved.
Indeed.
I was not expecting so many legal ramifications of this topic, but
I work
good to
for EU MDR specified laws and regulations. I know a lot.
got it. Watch out. Well, I think, you have to grow up and maybe realize the consequences and navigate that better. But where did we learn and develop this first was when we were kids at home. I don't have a very sassy household, I don't think. We're all way too accommodative to one another. But I have a sense maybe the two of you have some sassier genes.
I think I haven't heard much about your family.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that Shar was raised by a very sassy woman.
Yes.
A very, I think that your mom would come in the room and I know that she would command it.
That's very true
It doesn't
and
need to
very
be a room.
accurate. No, it can be through a text. Anywhere.
Energy,
Me and
thoughts.
her mom are both sassing her over Twitter right now.
I know. They gang up on me.
Yep.
Okay.
But no, you're absolutely, absolutely correct. I was raised by a sassy mother, and I don't think she realized that she had or she possessed sass until I was of an age where I could talk back. So you can't have I come from a brown Asian household. You can't really talk back, And obviously my mother wasn't the smacking kind, so she wasn't gonna hit me on my face. So she had to talk me down.
Yeah.
So she had to have that quip and,
The edge.
the edge. And that's how she, I don't know, she practically raised me. And I think that, I would say partly genetic that I possess that, but also partly my upbringing that it was that. And I think that's how I became this person who isn't, afraid to even sass back the patriarch of the family or
makes sense.
anything. If you're not going to humble yourself, guess what? I'm in town, bitch.
Oh, wow.
I think so. I think it's a lot more, nurture,
Yes.
nurture rather than nature.
Yeah.
You had a good role model to follow after.
Absolutely. And you said it very correctly. She's the kind of woman who will walk into a room and eyes are on her because she knows when she walks into a room it's on her, and it's very nonchalant. She's also very nurturing in the sense that she's I feel like she was a natural mother before she was even a mother. She's there, she will, fatten up a skinny kid sort of mother. She will give you that. If she likes you, you're loved and you're cared for. But the moment you're kind of stepping on her, she's
Yeah. Time and place again.
Yeah.
Time and place, and you can still be caring and be sassy. So there's, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. But I'm Dalis, I have the same assumption
Right.
about you. You have a fierce mom.
I do.
Exactly.
I think that I got a lot of things from my mama, but
Yeah.
I would like to say S.A.S. has been the best that she gave onto me, and the strength. And I think something that my mom always assured me of is that someone can make you uncomfortable and you don't have to go with it. So if someone is taking advantage of you, you don't take that, even if it's your elders, which is very controversial from my background because I'm Mexican. I was raised Mexican.
Yeah.
I say raised Mexican because I'm also half American.
Yeah.
But I was born and raised there. So talking back to your elders is something that you would never think of.
Exactly.
And my mom was always repeating this to me: no matter who's talking down to you, if they don't respect you, you don't respect them. They can be as old as they please. They can be a man, they can be a woman, they can be your teacher, they can be your authority. But if they're not treating you with respect, you have no reason to treat them with respect.
Yeah.
And so that came with a lot of consequences or like adventures, I would say. Yeah, because in school, I wouldn't take any sexist comments from teachers, which
I love it.
yeah, were a lot.
Yeah.
And especially because I was always trying to do what I wanted in a way that I started publishing articles very early when I was in high school, and I wanted to lead the like high school magazine, blah, blah, blah. And there was this teacher who kept on saying that a woman couldn't do that, or more like a girl couldn't do that. Exactly.
Wow.
And I think that if I had been raised by someone who didn't give me that assurance of no one can disrespect you, I would have taken it and I would have felt so bad.
Yeah.
But actually, because of my mom, I took that as an opportunity to be like, you know what? This is what's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were wrong.
Yeah.
And I will keep on doing whatever I want and I'll be successful at it. So
Yeah.
thank you for being ignorant.
Yeah. That's such a wonderful thing to like denormalize these, gender roles or anything like disrespect, because like you said, you would have probably felt bad about it, but then after a while you'd be like, oh, that's normal. So you would have stopped doing what you're doing altogether. Then like you wouldn't be publishing articles, you wouldn't be writing articles, it's like a whole butterfly.
Exactly.
What is it called?
Effect?
Well, no,
even
that word.
Even as you were telling that story, like we think of S.A.S. as this very mature, active concept, but you were just being like a very empowered, confident
child.
kid.
Yeah,
exactly.
Whether that was, in your nature or if you were forcing it to happen, either way. But I'm sure in that situation you explained, you got some, pushback from it. So how do you navigate that?
Being empowered and being a woman or being queer, I'm saying being queer because it's not that society has something against women. It's got something against femininity, against vulnerability, against being caring. So, for example...
Wow. Wow. It's like I just got a therapy session, like in that one sentence.
Yeah, it's not against women. It's against femininity, and it's for patriarchy and to serve this system that is doing a disservice to all of us. So when I talk about sexism, it can be both ways, And also, let's say people who are expressing themselves and out of the norm, they're always discredited, they're always dismissed, they're always seen as othered, and that there's no room for that. I think if especially if you're queer, you're young, you're a woman, you're young, and you're empowered, that is treasure. That is not it's something to treasure. There's no sass there. It's just why do people feel intimidated by someone being confident
or being themselves, for that matter?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, maybe bad on us for using this as the word, but it's really easy to write it off as just, oh, they're sassy.
True. It's very true. That's the thing that that's the thing that I feel like threatens straight cishet men the most, is that we can manipulate sass, number one, and like the way that we are with ourselves, how we love ourselves, how we are in presenting ourselves, we choose to show and period, that's it. We choose to show what we choose to show and nothing more. That really, I think, messes up the wiring of their brain.
Well, it's really confronting for them, I think, because for them to show that level of confidence and presence is something that they've been privileged to
not
for eternity.
Exactly.
When we want to do it, all of a sudden, like this is an active
aggression,
mode of protest,
rebellion,
and rebellion.
Yeah. And it's also, they're very cocooned in the sense that like it's never a natural thing that just occurs for them, in their environment. And it's very sad for us as well, because it's not very natural for us either. We have to kind of, like you said, your mom was very empowering, which is how you got the ability to be like, I'm not going to take any shit.
Yeah.
But for men, they're just born men and they're doing whatever the fuck they want, regardless of having an empowering parent or not. You know what I mean?
Their only outlet to express any of that is going to be aggression.
Yeah. I mean,
or disenfranchisement.
yeah. I mean, there's this is not related to S.A.S., but I don't know if you guys watched the show Fleabag. It's really good. And there's this very nice monologue in it. And the woman says, like, men are not born with pain. That's why to feel like a man, they start wars. They have this rivalry in sports, in anything, in politics. They need to do these extreme measures of violence to feel that. But women are born with pain. Like you're born and then you're a woman and it's already put on you. Like even physically, you're in pain all the time. So you don't crave that. And I think that dictates a lot of what patriarchy is doing to us.
Of course, yeah. And not only women are born with pain, but as I said, femininity just comes with
any type of other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, I completely agree.
Wow.
You
heard it here first. Like, be sassy, stop war.
Truly.
If we had to boil that down.
The Vietnam War wouldn't have happened if we were born in the 50s. The slogans.
Sprinkle some sass.
No. we might have to censor that.
Okay. You can.
But something that you said, which is really important about, it's an act of, they feel it as aggression, but it's also an act of rebellion. Just think of all the strong women that made it down in history. Were they well-behaved? Were they complacent? Were they... No, they were considered crazy. They were considered hysteric, angry, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think that people who are self-assured, sassy, they usually cause an itch. Just because it is really hard to get to a place in which you say, I love myself with flaws and all. And it's not like it's not something that you start and then you finish. It's continuous process. And I think that coming to terms with the fact that you're never going to be a finished project is very defeating for some people.
Yeah.
Just
and being comfortable with knowing that you're an unfinished project and like, you know, being vulnerable about it. Like that's the thing, these emotions that are hard, quote unquote, hard to process, vulnerability, acceptance, all of that. We're taught not to like it, like you said, because they all come with femininity and it's all things that quote unquote women possess. So it's already weak, you know, it's never, again, aggression is strong, violence is strong because there's a winning party in it. Vulnerability is seen as a lose-lose situation. Now I've put myself out there. Now what? I think that's a good way to kind of also dissect why men are so threatened.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing to win. That's the thing.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
And precisely something that I was thinking about when you were just talking right now is if men allowed themselves, and we're talking men because patriarchy and whoever gets offended, well, yes. Okay. But,
if they're offended by now, they wouldn't be this far into the season.
Good to know.
I think the moment we said yes, we're sassy, turned off. Like that's it.
So if men were allowed to be more sensitive and to show their emotions, there wouldn't be that much of an issue with them being parents, with them parenting and with them. You know, it's just a matter of generational trauma as well, because then you get men that are in touch with their feelings, that it's not even their feminine side, it's their human side. Because something that, as well, I have a lot of friends who are very spiritual based, and whenever I tell them about, oh yeah, and I told this and that to, they go like, oh, you spoke your truth. And speaking my truth, yeah, I mean, if they spoke their truth, if they spoke their human side, they wouldn't be in such constrained boxes that, I mean, okay, yeah, the breadwinner. If you want to do that,
Yeah.
for whoever comes into your life, or that's how you feel. Because there's people that have instincts. For example, as you talked about your mother, she had this very caring, motherly
Yeah.
approach and just attitude. And that's not something to take away from her if she is like that, or she wants to be like that. But then when men act like that, they're weak, they're not, they're dismissed, they're not a good man.
They're not validated.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think we've been saying it for years as women, as a part of, as a minority, as the other. We've always said it. Patriarchy hurts men too. It's not just hurting the others. It's literally hurting men. You're not winning in any case at all. And I think that's hard to register for men because, again, they built a system that they could take advantage of.
Yeah.
But they're the ones who are, not winning.
Not gonna say I'm not glad about that. Yeah, silent tears. Like,
I think this is a good segue also because this is the S.A.S.S Masterclass.
Yeah,
obviously.
We've set the background
Yeah.
already. We know the implications for society.
So I think it's time for lessons. We need to get our notebooks out.
Let's come back to some practical tips now, maybe.
Yeah.
About how do you go about doing this? When would you do it? I mean, we heard some examples already, like in the face of discrimination or oppression, or in a very, different circumstance when you're trying to be flirty or playful. So I think the implications are super broad, but
Yeah. I can start with the surface level, which is, when to be flirty and when to be like, that's not as deep as, asking for a seat at the table or something like that. Like we already touched upon it, time and place for everything. It's so important. But also like, I think for us women, we are very, or the other, let's just say that I need to stop.
I like that better.
she's in days.
Yeah, he's in days. Exactly. She's in days. We're very intuitive, even when in terms of communication and in terms of picking up cues, even in terms of texting, for example. We know when the other person is being flirty or the other person means it, even if it doesn't come with, several thousand emojis or periods or whatever. Like, I think we kind of know the tone of it, so we can really play along to it. I don't know if the other party can really do it, like the person that we're talking to, usually men. So I would suggest, if the woman is playing along and then the next time she wants to start the play, don't be offended.
I get what you mean, because this sass can be very subtle.
Yeah.
As well, especially if it's like the light, playful, flirty kind. And now it's also difficult to make it come across well online.
Exactly.
Or via texting or something, know. Like if I need to be sassy in an email to a professor, it's something as simple as taking a few exclamation points out. That would be very common for me, but it's a lot of effort on my part to change them into periods.
Yeah.
And who knows if it comes across to the other person, but it's damn well empowering for me to do it, to make my point more firmly. Or if I'm texting a friend that's being a bit annoying and I completely leave out emojis at all.
Yeah.
Anyone who talks to me knows I, use them like hieroglyphics. So if we've gone through a few texts and you haven't seen a facial reaction from me, it's because you trust me, you don't want to see the one I'm making.
Yeah. Workplace would be, as per my last email.
But actually, no, that's a good, as per my last email, that's almost a very passive aggressive way
of
So
saying
you know how to read.
Exactly. Exactly.
Either you didn't have the time to read or you don't know how to.
Exactly. But no, for surface level stuff like that, I would say for us being intuitive, at least, don't be offended when we snap back, be ready to take it. It comes from a good intended, like the intentions are good, I would say.
Yeah. Well, that being said, though, me maybe is a slightly lesser of the sassy bunch here. I could be very fragile to this.
Okay.
If we're going like head to head in a sass battle, I think sometimes you need to know when to
Stop.
tone it down.
But like
Take a back seat.
I said, we're intuitive in that
Yeah.
sense. And I think a lot of, at least my personally, if I'm sassing someone, it's never going to, like, I'm not going to hit you where it hurts,
Yeah,
you know?
of course. Well, and you have other modes of being as well.
Exactly.
Huh.
But I think Dalis would be more well equipped to answer the.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, Dalis, this is something, it plays into this. I wanted to ask, how does all of this kind of relate to this hot-headed Latina stereotype?
Yeah.
How do you navigate that with this whole boundary thing I'm
Yeah,
talking
right.
about?
So I actually talked about this with my mom recently because as I mentioned, I'm Mexican American.
Yes.
Yeah. And that means I'm a white Mexican. Some people are just not comfortable with the
Yeah.
idea of Mexican not looking like the stereotype of whatever is in the
A
world.
Caucasian Mexican.
Exactly. And also, I have to say, Caucasians have the most generic stereotypes for Mexicans, and it just hurts. But
Oh.
Yeah.
you have to get used to it in a way. I feel like,
Sadly. Yeah.
sadly indeed, because, for example, what I was telling my mom the other day is that usually guys feel entitled to ask me, oh, you're Mexican, so you must be really good in bed. What the fuck?
Huh.
So, exactly. And
Strange men that too.
Yeah.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
men that I just met, like, okay, like BC before Corona. Yeah. The real BC.
Good one.
At parties, men, it would be like 3 sentences in a conversation, and they would ask me like that. Or, oh, you went to Catholic school and you're Mexican, so you must be a freak in bed. And I would be like,
Jesus.
not with you. Never with you. Yeah, exactly. And those comments are just, okay, yes, we all know that women of color and women everywhere in the world are exotified and fetishized.
Yeah.
And just for not even color, just nationality.
Yeah.
And something that I get more comments on throughout the years, because back when I moved out of Mexico, like 4 or 5 years ago, I would be smiling, I would be apologizing, I would be thanking people for no good reason.
Yeah.
Apologizing
Yeah.
for what? Apologizing for being around, for taking up space.
Yeah.
But in Mexico, that's kind of the norm. You thank people, you say please, you say sorry a lot. And that's just comes with being from a colonized culture.
Yeah. And also I think adding to that, it also is because we're taught that as women, I would say, or as the other. Sorry, I keep saying, but women.
No, we're going to start conditioning you. A little treat every time.
Yeah, Pavlov me. As women, like you said, to take up space, just like I can only speak as a woman right now. So like to take up space, to say anything, like you bump into a wall and it's not the wall's fault. Like
Exactly.
it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's quite insane. But yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, or then you speak your mind about being uncomfortable, because usually what people say is if something makes you uncomfortable, then say it, but then they don't take it well when you are uncomfortable and you express it.
Yes.
So about the Latina hothead, you have no idea how many times I got that comment when I just moved out of Mexico, because usually they would expect me to be like other girls around me who wouldn't say anything about people being assholes to them. And if I said something and I made a big scene about it, oh, you're being like a hothead, you're being crazy, you're Latina, that's why she reacts that way. And honestly, at some point, I told them, you know what? You want to see crazy? I'll show you crazy and I'll make your life hell.
Oh, yes.
Because seriously, if someone like
Active aggressive.
Yeah. No. Like,
Yes.
I don't believe in passive aggressive. I think that being aggressive, you can be like, there's layers of being aggressive, but passive aggressive is already aggressive. But I am very active aggressive. Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's such a thing, like this cultural context. Like, I think the stereotypes just worsen everything that is already
Yeah.
wrong with like this notion of sass and notion of, confidence even. And I can only imagine like the stereotype of Latina hothead, how that would be. Like for us, thank God, like we're a very tiny, tiny nation. So I don't think anyone bothers enough to have a stereotype for us. But I think one thing for Nepali people would be that they're very nice. Like we're known for our hospitality.
Yeah.
There's a saying, the guests are our gods. So maybe it would be a little surprising for them if I'm actually, a little like, don't fuck with me if you want to be fucked, Maybe they would be surprised. But again, like literally no one knows where Nepal is. So I think we don't have that colonizers taint on us.
Yeah.
Must be nice.
There's a lot of other shit that we sold, okay? We were just... That's another conversation. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were back to educating our audience.
Yes.
And moving on to being actual masters.
Uh-huh.
What would you say is something that, sure, we call ourselves masters and experts and whatever, but what would you recommend genuinely as a human being when it comes to SASS?
Well, I think for the self-assured and self-sufficient part is you have to get to know yourself, and that might look different for everyone, because there are some people that get to know themselves better through therapy. There's people that get to know themselves better through spending time on their own. But I think a very important part of it is just identifying what you're okay with. Especially, we're young, but you can. You think about what you thought was okay when you were 18, and what is okay for you now, and there's a sea of difference. It's a leap. It's just you became a different person, or at least that's how I see it.
That is so true.
So I think there's people that never really sit down with their own thoughts and confront them.
Yeah.
Even if they're 30, even if they're 40.
Yeah.
And just our generation has this big blessing of sometimes we're bored because we have all the time in the world. But that's also
blessing and curse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but if you use your time wisely and you like sit down and write what you don't like about how your friends treat you, if you feel like you're constantly being diminished by other people, there's ways to approach that, because yes, some people can be assholes to you, of course. That's like one of the certainties you'll have while being alive. People will disappoint, and people will tear you to pieces. That's exactly. And how some friends disappoint less, but people are gonna disappoint you. So it's more about creating a safe space for yourself within you, that no matter where you are, you're going to be home. And that's corny. I know that's corny.
No.
But in a way, it's
the truth.
Yeah. So audiobooks or writing. What else? I think, I have to say, I have some audiobooks that it's just, I can listen to them while I'm washing dishes, and it's just like, background noise.
Yeah.
But I still internalize those words of, you are all what you need. You don't know anything to anyone, which goes back to, as I said, what my mom always taught me. So knowing that you don't know explanations to anyone, and that you can just, it's not rude for you to say, hey, I can't, I don't feel like it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's enough of an explanation. Or I think that explanations are for people that treat you with respect and people that you're close to. But nobody is entitled to know your business. And
that's so true.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot to, operate with that level of confidence, because you have,
of course,
you have to realize your own business first. And that's,
exactly.
That's a long process, like you said, you know, whatever self-help resources you need, audiobooks, therapy, podcasts. But it can be quite uncomfortable to get through that stage. But I think if you can go through that process and emerge, you learn how to become a better sassier person.
I think that's what, like, in the beginning, what Dalis said.
Yeah.
SAS is about boundaries, and knowing you require boundaries or knowing your boundaries, that plays into self-awareness. Then you're self-assured. Then you're self-sufficient.
Oh.
And there you go.
Look at you.
Learned from the best.
No, I think that's a really nice way to end the master class here.
Yeah.
Because like we've mentioned, sass has been treated as such a negative term. Oh, she's just a sassy, silly woman or a hot-headed Latina. And sass instead has to become like this new way forward of taking up space unapologetically and speaking out.
And being just self-aware.
Yeah.
That's the first and probably the only step. Like, once we talked a lot about not apologizing, about taking space, and not apologizing about existing. Be aware of that. Be aware of the fact that you are taking space, how unapologetic that might be.
Yeah.
Be aware of the fact that you are existing and your opinions are being circulated somewhere, A lot of SAS is about knowing your impact as well. I think this also ties back to like when we said like SAS isn't arrogance. It has a lot of humility in it. It comes with awareness, I would say.
Of course, when you're self-aware, you can also laugh about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people, and I would count myself in, that sometimes you're so self-aware that you can become self-conscious. But being
that's a cool one.
Like, if you're not self-aware, if you're not self-conscious about behaviors that are not serving you, then how do you go further from that point? Because something I was telling a dear friend of mine who recently left the country, is that she worries a lot about what people are gonna say about her, what people are gonna think about her. And I told her, like, you know what? People are always gonna gossip about you. People are gonna spread rumors about you because they're only seeing a portion of who you are. And so they're always going to have an opinion, either bad or good. So you just might as well do whatever the fuck you want. Give them a good show.
Yeah.
And they're still going to be talking about you. Yeah. Because if you don't do what you want, they will still talk about you. Yeah. But they won't talk about you doing whatever the fuck you wanted.
Yeah.
So like that old quote, people are going to look, might as well make it worthwhile.
Wow.
That took me back to like, YOLO,
right? Like 8th grade, feast with City.
Well, what a good point to end on. Don't worry so much about the other people. No. You've got to live your life self-assured and self-sufficient.
Be kind always. I think being kind is important. But also
take no shit.
Yeah.
Talk shit, get hit. But yeah, this was incredible.
Very helpful.
Incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I had a vision of how this would go, and this surpassed my vision in many, many ways.
I'm glad to see you doing what you love, and you're great at it. So yeah, I hope we can have another one.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because I love this. As I told you, I feel on a rush. I feel like,
thank you.
There's no drug compared to this.
You heard it here first.
That should be our marketing slogan. Well, no, we loved having you as well. So thanks for coming to help share your expertise with our listeners. We hope you at home enjoyed it as well.
This was incredibly insightful. This was incredibly fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And this was something that we wanted to deep dive into for a long time, and I'm glad we could do it with you.
Totally.
Thank you. Let's keep on sassing.
Love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like this episode, go ahead and share it with your friends.
Share it with your enemies. In the meantime, you know where to find us at Audacity.fm on every social media platform except Twitter. That's at Audacity_FM.
And on all of those platforms, you can find our LinkTree in the bio at Audacity.fm. That tells you all of the places you can find us on, including Anchor, our podcasting host.
Anchor is an amazing platform, obviously, and you can share your voice recordings of your feedback with us, which we will feature on our future episodes.
Yeah.
And Anchor is also an amazing platform because you get to contribute for us to be sustainable and upright and healthy and functioning.
Yeah, and we can do things like, have more interesting episodes, bring on different guests, just continuously improve.
Indeed. So
that's it. Thanks again, Dalis, for joining us. Check her out in the description below.
yes.
And we'll see you next week. We've got an interesting episode planned.
Very interesting. Very Gen Z, isn't it?
I think so, too.
Yeah.
It kind of tiptoes on some of these topics we've touched on, too.
Yeah. It's been a great time, and until next time.
Stay sassy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.